Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. F8 here, and I'm bringing you some more World of Tanks. Today we're going to have a look at the Panzer III-K, which is available now in the premium shop. It's available in 3 different packages, starting off at $12.99. The second package would be $24.99, and the third package is $49.99. Now, I wanted to go ahead and get into exactly what you're getting for any one of these bundles. What exactly is the Panzer III-K? And so I set up a little bit of a comparison here. And for the comparison, I am using the Chinu Kai premium tank and the Panzer T25, the second German Tier 5 medium tank available in the premium shop. Now, just a quick highlight that the Chinu Kai and the Panzer T25 are cheaper. Both of those can be had for less than $10. So just keep that in mind that the Panzer K is more expensive. It is an additional third more expensive than those two. So, what are you getting in the Panzer K compared to the other tanks? Well, when it comes to firepower, you're getting a bit of a DPM boost compared to the other two. The Panzer K, I'm just going to call it the Panzer K, you're getting 1720 damage per minute as opposed to the T25, which you're getting 1600. And the Chinu Kai, which you're getting 1564. However, the Panzer K has the lowest penetration values out of all of them, with 103 millimeters of penetration, as opposed to the 116 on the T25 and the 124 on the Chinu Kai. Also, you're only doing 110 damage per shot, which is the same as the Panzer T25, but it is 15 less than the Chinu Kai. So, when you look into the aiming time, the Panzer K and the Chinu Kai share the same aiming time of 2.1 seconds, and the Panzer T25 lags behind with a 2.4, so it will be a little bit quicker aiming when compared to the T25. However, the T25 has much better dispersion values when it comes to traversing the tank or the turret. Also the on-the-move values are way better on the Chinu Kai and on the T25 than they are on the Panzer III-K. So next we're going to have a look at the mobility. Now this is, in my opinion, where the Panzer III-K really kind of lacks behind. Will be the mobility and the armor, but we'll get to the armor here in a second. Right now, let's get to the mobility. The Panzer III and the Chinu Kai, the Panzer III travels at 40 kilometers forward, 12 backwards. The Chinu Kai is 38.8, so just short of 40. But it travels 16 in reverse. And the Panzer T25 can do 60 forward and 20 in reverse. So the Panzer T25 is the more mobile tank. It also has, as I mentioned just a second ago, the middle ground when it comes to penetration values. But let's look at the horsepower per ton. And this is where the Panzer T25 really leads the pack. It has 22.6 power to weight ratio. The Chinu Kai is the slowest with 11.2, and the Panzer K is 13. Now, I gotta say that the Panzer III-K does feel like a slower tank than what it shows on paper. I gotta say it's a bit sluggish. Compared to most of the medium tanks at Tier 5. So just a little food for thought there. Now the terrain resistances are kind of the middle ground in this comparison here. The Chinu Kai has the best ground resistances, followed by the Panzer 3K, and then the Panzer T25 is last. It has got the worst terrain resistances. So the Panzer 3K kind of has the middle ground there. Now let's go ahead and move on to armor here. So the hull and the turret fronts are both 50. The hull and turret sides are both 30. And then the hull on the back has 50 millimeters. And the turret back has 30. Now, I gotta say that the Panzer 3K seems to get penetrated. I'll just go ahead and say 9 times out of 10. It seems that anything that shoots at you will more than likely pin you. You very rarely will bounce a shot. Maybe if you have some extreme angling, or they hit your tracks, or something like that, will you bounce a shot. But that can be said kind of about most of these medium tanks at tier 5 here. They don't really bounce shots too well. But let's go ahead and continue with our comparison here. The Chinukai has the best turret armor of 75, and the Chinukai's hull is 50, 25, and 20. Now, if you look at the Panzer T25, it has a turret armor of 60 on the front, 60 on the side, and 35 on the rear. The hull armor of the T25 is 50 on the front, 45 on the side, and 35 at the rear. So, I guess the Panzer 3K is probably the least armored in this comparison, followed very closely by the Chinukai, because the Chinukai has a bit of a better turret and a much better gun in terms of penetration. And of course you have your miscellaneous values here, like your view range is 350, which is the same as the Chinukai, and the Panzer T25 lags behind with only 320 meters of view range. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of get back to the point of what you're getting for this. I gotta say that as far as the tier 5s go, the tier 5 premium mediums go, in my opinion, the Panzer 3K is the most lackluster. The armor doesn't seem to hold up very well. The gun is very inaccurate. Not that the other tier 5s have an amazing accurate gun, but the Panzer 3K just seems to be ridiculously inaccurate when you fire, and it seems to take a way longer time to aim than what you're expecting. Combine that with the slower speed of 40 kilometers, and when you get into that tier 5 match, you will do okay. If you get a tier 6 match, you're going to have a lot of trouble with penetrating the majority of the tanks. And of course, a tier 7 match, you are vastly outclassed. You won't have much chance at competing with a tier 7. Now, just a quick highlight here. Let's look at the premium shells here on the Panzer 3. So, the premium shells, which are APCR, have 139 millimeters of penetration. Now, if you look at something like the Chinukai, you have 155 millimeters of penetration. Now, this is with the standard, the premium rounds. Keep that in mind. You have 155 millimeters of penetration. And, of course, the Panzer T25, you're looking at 167 millimeters of penetration. So that's comparable to the gun on, say, the KV5, the 103 millimeter, I think it is, on the KV5, which is also the same gun that is on the T150, the Russian tier 6 heavy tank. So you have the same penetration value on the T25 as you do on those tanks. But getting back to the Panzer 3 here, it just feels like your 103 millimeters of penetration struggled tremendously to penetrate the majority of your targets, especially when you're firing at, you know, a heavy tank at tier 5 or a heavy tank at tier 6 or a medium tank at tier 7. You're not going to be penetrating the front of a tiger or a panther or anything like that you're firing at. So just keep that in mind. And this is a premium tank. It's supposed to make you money, be a crew trainer, and get you that experience. So the experience department, it does okay in. However, when it comes to making money, you're going to find that you have to fire so many premium shells to make an impact in the fight, unless, of course, the enemy is just giving you their side or back. You're going to have to fire so many premium shells in this thing that the actual money you will make off it will be negligible. So in my opinion, for $12.99, I would rather pick up the Chinu Kai and save yourself the $3, or pick up the T25 if you want the German crew trainer. Just go ahead and save yourself the $3 there. Another great choice at tier 5 when it comes to a premium tank would be something like the Excelsior. It gets preferential matchmaking, or the Churchill 3, which also gets preferential matchmaking. Now, yeah, they are heavy tanks, and they are from different nations. You have the British and you have the Russian here, but just keep in mind that their premium shells are very, very effective, and those two actually have decent armor, and they can, if angled properly, can withstand a one-on-one fight with a tier 5 heavy tank. So those would be my two go-tos, would be the Churchill 3 or the Excelsior. But if you're really looking for that medium tier 5 premium, like I said, the Chinu Kai or the T25 would be a much better option in my opinion. So with that said, guys, I gotta say I had quite a bit of trouble when it came to getting into a battle that I did not get destroyed in very quickly, or that we actually won. In fact, this footage you guys are seeing, I actually did not win a single battle, and I played 6 battles in a row. I did not win a single battle, and I think 3 out of the 6 battles I was in were tier 7. So just keep that in mind, that when it comes to getting that tier 7 battle, you're really not going to fare too well. But with that said, guys, that's my opinion. That's my thoughts on the Panzer 3K. I am F8 Alpha, and I will catch you guys next time.